First at 4, an Inkster teenager is shot. Police say his mother pulled the trigger. Many of you have been following this story online. We have the very latest. A murder suspect told the judge he didn't do it, but video did show him dragging a woman's body. Now there is a huge twist in this case. Ben.
Karen, a lot of us have not seen much action as far as the snow goes, but it is still coming down north of Detroit. We'll tell you how long it's going to hold on. Paula?
Hey, Ben, keeping airport travelers safer, not with TSA, but Chick-fil-A. These stories and more happening right now on Local 4, First at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, Michigan State Police say an argument between a mother and her very own son ends in gunfire. She is in police custody right now being questioned. Meantime, police are investigating this morning's shooting, which happened at the Canterbury Apartments in Inkster. Sources telling Local 4 the 17-year-old was shot after refusing to go to school and then was hit in the back while running away from his mother. The teen is currently hospitalized, where he is listed in critical but stable condition at this hour. 2 people are now being questioned, and a community remains on edge after a 5-year-old girl was assaulted during a home invasion. Police say it happened around 4 this morning on Brainerd Street in Detroit's Midtown community. Investigators stopped a man and woman for questioning following a traffic stop at Helen and Strong Streets. The parents tell police they have no idea why they were targeted. We have a live update tonight at 5. Well, it's a case that shocked Metro Detroit. Now, murder charges have been dropped against the only suspect. Surveillance video showed a homeless man, Rudolph Henderson, dragging a woman's body down the street on Detroit's west side. Now, you may remember, Henderson kept telling the judge he didn't do it when he was arraigned. Well, police now say someone else killed this woman. Henderson is still in jail on unrelated charges. Meantime, take a look at this surveillance video that we showed you. It shows Henderson dragging the victim, 57-year-old Annette Nelson. Now, Henderson said he just found the body, and now prosecutors do believe him. They say new video evidence actually shows Henderson did not kill Nelson. Right now, it's not clear if he might face charges of evidence tampering, perhaps desecration of a human corpse. We're working on this story. We'll keep you posted in the search for a new suspect. 2 of Detroit's most powerful leaders came together this morning to talk about the city's progress during the annual Pancakes and Politics event. The spotlight was on Mayor Mike Duggan and Quicken Loan founder Dan Gilbert. The 2 men traded compliments while sharing their vision for the city's future. In discussing the city's latest improvements, including the balanced budgets, Mayor Duggan says, quote, "We're just going to keep plugging away." Speaking of plugging away, our March snow is refusing to leave, but we're getting through it, especially if you live in the northern parts of our viewing area. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Let's bring in Ben with the first forecast.
Yeah, just hours away, Karen. We'll finally be done with this snow for a good long while, but until then, it's going to be a headache in at least about half the area. From Detroit south, we're basically looking at flurries, and you get north of the city, and we've got 2 of these bands of moderate snow. One of them's pretty much paralleling 75 from Flint down into Pontiac and Auburn Hills. And then you see another one that's striped here across parts of Sanilac and St. Clair County. So far, we have had accumulation reports in Sanilac County of up to 4 inches of snow, and that was even before the lunch hour, so it's likely a little bit higher there. Winter storm warnings remain in effect for Sanilac County until 6 p.m. There's still a winter weather advisory out for Lapeer and St. Clair also until that time. The rest of us almost done, and temperatures tonight going to be down below freezing even before we get to 10 o'clock. But that snow wraps up even the flurries before midnight. We'll talk about what's on the other side in a few minutes. Karen?
All right. Thank you, Ben. A dangerous and deadly nor'easter is pounding the northeast section of the United States for the second time in just a week. The storm has dumped as much as 2 feet of wet, heavy snow in the area. Devin Scillian following this story. And Devin, a lot of people are just miserable in that part of the country.
Well, that's certainly right, Karen. This storm was less severe than last week's. 1.3 million households, though, are without power from Virginia to Maine, and about 40,000 never got power back from the last storm in the first place. This latest storm started moving into the northeast yesterday. Snow still coming down in some spots, including Vermont. Snow's been falling very fast in some areas, about 6 inches an hour, if you can imagine. Overnight, residents felt these fierce winds moving in, and that was a real slap in the face to many.
I was outside at 2 o'clock this morning. I mean, I had face mask on this low. I mean, I put sunglasses on at one point because that thing was whipping me in the face.
Travel in and out of the East Coast, a real mess. More than 3,200 flights have been canceled. Driving conditions extremely hazardous. Last week's storm left at least 6 people dead. So far, police have only reported 2 deaths in this round. An 88-year-old woman from New York died after being hit by a falling tree in her driveway, if you can imagine. And a New Jersey driver whose vehicle went up in flames because of a live wire that was down on the road. So a lot of different varieties of problems because of this weather problem. Karen, if you can believe it, these folks aren't out of the woods yet. Forecasters say there's a chance of another snowstorm coming up the East Coast early next week. We'll keep watching it. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Devin. Breaking news from the White House, where President Donald Trump just announced he's going ahead with those new tariffs on steel and aluminum. The president invited workers from those industries to the White House as he made the announcement. He outlined tariffs of 25% on imported steel and 10% on aluminum. The president calls his action a matter of national security. He said other countries have been taking advantage of the U.S. for too long.
It's a process called dumping, and they dumped more than at any time on any nation, anywhere in the world. And it drove our plants out of business. It drove our factories out of business.
Of course, this will have a huge impact on other businesses like the auto industry. We'll have more from Washington tonight at 5. We're also on top of stories making headlines around the world. We start with a surprising comment from Russian President Vladimir Putin. Just days after a former Russian spy and his daughter were poisoned, people are talking about a comment Putin made in a new documentary. At one point, he said, quote, "Those who serve us with poison will eventually swallow it and poison themselves." We're told he was not addressing reports of the ongoing investigation in Britain when he made that comment. The Kremlin has denied any involvement. The former spy and his daughter remain in critical condition this afternoon. British authorities say 21 people have sought treatments following the attack with a nerve agent. When you think about airport security, you probably think about TSA workers, but there are thousands of other employees with access to restricted areas, like fast food workers and gift shop employees. Now, a local business is getting recognized for going above and beyond to vet the people on its payroll. Paula Tutman tells us what that means for security at Detroit's Metro Airport. Good afternoon, Paula.
Good afternoon, Karen. Yeah, things really started heating up right on cue. You see all of these people waiting to take off their boots and their belts to get through security. But you probably don't think about concession workers. They really are the front line of security. And while you might not be thinking about the person scooping in your fries in your bag, certainly one concessionaire is.
Well, I already know you're probably going to go with the pad thai, so I'm going to...
The barkeep shaking up your drinks at the P.F. Chang's at Metro Airport is very different from the barkeep at your P.F. Chang's on the outside world. At the airport, this barkeep and all of the other workers here have access to airplanes, private secure entry points, and thousands upon thousands of passengers.
Airport employees, we consider them as a first line of defense for security.
In order to even work in any capacity at any airport, there are layers of background checks. But since 2006, the Department of Homeland Security has implemented a more enhanced system, the ICE Image Program.
I see you're a regular here. Well, thank you so much.
And José's APU Airport Concessionaires is the first organization in a Michigan airport to be certified.
We have to make sure our employees are who they say they are, because this airport environment is very sensitive real estate. We want to make sure that not only our employees but our passengers are in a safe environment.
It's a way that we help the employers understand what type of things to look for in their employees' documents, ways of verifying that those documents are valid and that type of thing.
Please report to A17.
So what does this mean to the traveler? Well, it means a safer environment. It means this employer of some 500 employees is going through enhanced training to learn how to verify documents, upping the ante in background checks. José's APU Airport Concessionaires owns Longhorn Steakhouse, Cat Core Tap Room, Chick-fil-A, P.F. Chang's, more than a dozen name brand restaurants, eateries, and newsstands throughout Metro Airport. And all of their employees have easy access to the security-sensitive geography of a major airport.
In order to work at the airport, you need to pass background checks that the airport police department does in order to get the identification that I use to get in here. That's a little bit separate from this program. This program complements that.
But not every single airport employee or every single airport concessionaire has this special certification. The Department of Homeland Security hopes where this organization is trailblazing the way, others will follow. Yeah, and you know, the program is voluntary, it is free, and so the Department of Homeland Security wants everybody to be involved. I do want to make it clear, that doesn't mean that current procedures are wanting in any way, Karen, but this is just an extra layer of protection for those frontline workers.
Paula, you mentioned they wanted other companies and agencies to take part if possible. Obviously, there's got to be a cost. What are you hearing in terms of the likelihood of other people jumping on board a program like this?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's an application process, and they have to go through very, very specific training to get certified, but there is no cost to the employer or the subcontractor. And so they're really hoping that people see this and they get on board.
Very encouraging.
You see what I did there?
Oh,
Get on
I like
board.
That. You're so creative, Paula. Always impressive. All right, thank you, Paula. Still ahead, here first at 4, a poison danger for young children. We have a Help Me Hank recall alert you need to hear. Also ahead, McDonald's turning its iconic logo upside down. Did you notice? The company says it was trying to do a good thing, but still facing criticism this afternoon. We'll tell you why. Up first, look at this video of someone dressed like a sheriff's deputy approaching a woman's home. Now, she thought something was off, and she was right. Plus, there is another twist in this case. Next.
Uproar coming up all new on Local 4 News at 5 and 6.
Those are tire tracks. But why would someone drive on a sidewalk next to a fence? Well, maybe it has something to do with that.
It's horrible. You literally have to drive on the grass, risk getting a ticket or pissing off the neighbors because nobody wants to ride in the middle.
We'll tell you who's responsible for this dirt road that people are driving into lawns to avoid.
You've heard stories about fake police officers before, but this one comes with a twist. Take a look at the surveillance video from Victoriaville, California. That's just a little northeast of LA. A woman says a young man dressed as a deputy pulled into her driveway in an unmarked vehicle. He even had flashing lights. And take a look at the screen there. He tried to get inside her home, but then ran off. Turns out the man was fake. Actually, was just 14 years old. When officers searched his home, they found a sheriff's uniform, bulletproof vest, and fake guns. He is now in juvenile detention this afternoon. A Hank recall alert involving a potential danger to young children. There is a new warning about maximum strength bacitracin plus ointment with lidocaine. The packaging violates the Poison Prevention Packaging Act. And the lidocaine in the ointment poses a risk of poisoning young children if children are able to put that ointment on their skin or maybe in their mouths. More than 500,000 tubes are being recalled. You can contact the manufacturer, United Exchange, for a full refund and obviously keep it away from your kids. Ben is back, and I think today was a pretty nice day, considering kind of was a strange start with the snow, and then the sun popped out.
If you were south of 8 Mile, it was fine.
Yeah.
North of there,
a little crazy.
It got a little hectic, still is in some spots, and this is the perpetrator that's responsible. This is the low, and you can see it swirling. That counterclockwise swirl picked up very well here on the satellite image as it's now starting to rotate over into Ontario. And of course, as that sun gets lower in the sky, it's just highlighting some of those clouds, and very cool shot. However, you can also see the snow that's curling around that as well, and still going here, even though it shows some signs of lightening up, but then we're getting a little bit of regeneration here, a little bit closer to Saginaw Bay and the Thumb. So again, north of the city, we're going to continue to see the snow even accumulate as we get through the next few hours. And there's so much you got to pay somebody to come take care of it. I don't know what this little guy charges, but he looks like he's doing a good job. That is up in Commerce Township on storm pins. Thank you for that shot. Wind chills outside right now in the teens in some spots, and that's one of the reasons we still have that advisory and the warning. Those winds 25 miles per hour, at least the gusts are in that area. Air temperatures are at or above, or below freezing, I should say. The only spots that are above right now are Metro Airport and Grosse Ile, which are 33. So we expect to see at least some snow activity going through about the 7-8 o'clock hour. Once things get a little bit further beyond that, it's going to go back to scattered snow showers. At least some of those moderate bands that we're seeing on radar are going to start drying up. And by 10 o'clock, other than a couple random flurries, we're pretty much done with the snow, not only for tonight, but it looks like for the majority of the next 10 days. Friday morning, Clouds will be around, but we'll get some sunshine peeking around that. Clouds will thin a little bit, and then the clouds do come back as we get into the afternoon. There's a slight chance of getting a flurry in here on Friday, but very few of us are going to see it, so I think the majority of us can just forget about it. Lows tonight, though, in our metro zone are going to be on the cold side. We'll be at 26 in the city, 25 officially, so if you did see some of that snow melt off today, it's likely going to be freezing back overnight. 24 in Onstad, 26 in Luna Pier for overnight lows. Even in our west zone where we have seen some of that snow, a little bit more intense, especially up in Genesee County, 23 for a low in Flint, and north of 59 here in our north zone. Generally 23 or 24 is what we're looking at for lows tonight. The winds are going to relax somewhat, but still be noticeable. We'll probably have wind chills in the teens waking up tomorrow morning. Highs on the mid 30s tomorrow, and we will see those again clouds in the second half of the day as that sunshine tries to work around it. Minor increase in temperatures going into the weekend, but at least there's plenty of sunshine. 38 and 40 for Saturday and Sunday, and I'll step out of the way to show you there is not a drop of snow, flake of snow in the forecast all the way through Thursday, and not a drop of rain for that matter either. Karen.
Thank you very much, Ben. Still ahead, Coca-Cola is doing something it has not done in 125 years. We're going to tell you about a beverage breakthrough in trending stories. Up first, paid to pedal. Employees at one company have a new way to make some extra cash, and that's not the only benefit. We've got trending stories coming up next. In today's trending stories, some employees, get this, are now getting paid to pedal to work. It's a pretty interesting idea. A company in New Zealand is offering employees $5 a day to bike to work. The company's web designer says he enjoys the program because he avoids traffic, makes some extra money. Now, if you bike to work for more than 6 months, you start getting $10 a day. The company says it's better for employee health and energy levels. I would totally do this.
Yeah.
Would you do this, Ben?
Especially if I live down the street.
Well, I was going to say, we kind of live a little further, and yes, there's snow, but kind of a cool concept,
it's good
right?
incentive,
Yeah.
absolutely.
This is also an interesting concept that lots of folks are talking about. Coca-Cola doing something it has never done before. The soda company is launching an alcoholic drink, but wait, you will have to go a long way to get into testing it. It's in the Japanese market, where actually canned flavored alcoholic drinks are pretty popular. The company calls it a highly Japan-specific approach, so it doesn't sound like we will be seeing Coke alcoholic beverages here anytime soon, but it is an interesting move if you consider the company as soft drink sales continue to keep sagging and sagging here in the United States.
Yeah, we had that Four Loko, I think, that was on sale.
I do remember that.
Way back in the day.
Yeah.
Caffeine and alcohol, not a good mix.
Not a good mix. Good health news, Dr. Ben. Matt. Let's talk about McDonald's. This was all over social media today. One of the several companies honoring women today by changing its logo. The iconic golden arches turned upside down to turn that M into a W. The change comes on International Women's Day. But some people are complaining on social media, saying it's hypocritical to honor women with the gesture while still underpaying employees. This is the first year McDonald's took part in the celebration. Speaking of celebrations, some high school students you know just might be winners in our 4 Frenzy Fan Choice Awards. Today, we are saluting Sudong Kim as the best swim team diver from Rochester Adams. Easton Borso of Riverview is a winner for playing hockey. Luke Fromm is a basketball forward from De La Salle, and Robert Lambert is the favorite sophomore swimmer from Allen Park High School. So a big congrats to all of you. And if you want to see the complete list, just click on Detroit.com and you will be able to get that full list. Still ahead, you can probably tell these are the traditional M&Ms. We know them, we love them, but now you can help choose a new flavor. We'll reveal the nominees when we come back.
Is your body trying to tell you that something is wrong?
It's not that we should start screening earlier, we should start listening to our bodies.
Tonight at 11, it's a problem too many people are trying to ignore. I'm Dr. Frank McGeorge. I'll show you the warning flags you need to stop ignoring and the potentially life-saving tests you shouldn't skip.
Right now.
Finally, first at 4, M&Ms come in a few different flavors, and the company is about to add a new one.
And we all get to help in choosing which flavor gets the green light. Apparently, there are 3 candidates: Crunchy Espresso, Crunchy Raspberry, and Crunchy Mint. And we're told that all these new flavors are made with dark chocolate.
Totally want the Crunchy Mint. The new candies hit store shelves in April. You'll be able to vote through May 25th on social media. The fan favorite will be announced in August.
I bet it'll taste like those Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah,
Thin
that's
Mints?
why I want those Thin Mints.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I've
Mark me down for those.
been killing those the past few weeks. Thanks for joining us, First and 4. We're back in a half hour with Local 4 News at 5. Inside Edition straight ahead. Have a great afternoon.